Welcome to another allotment diary. Well, we've actually had some nice weather. The prediction of an Indian summer has actually been right. We've had some nice weather over the last few days. I managed to get down and spend a few hours and get things done. Firstly, the sheds and the potting table, they've all been painted. Could do with a second coat, but it's had one coat for now, and that will do until later on. So I'll get a second coat on that soon. It's important, if you've got any wooden structures on your plot, not obviously raised beds, because you've got to be careful painting those, because chemicals can get in the soil and into your crop. But certainly your sheds and anything like that that's wooden, give it a good coat of paint before winter and just protect it from the elements. If you look after it, it'll last longer, and then obviously you're getting more for your money from it. So the shed's all been painted. It's looking lovely. I've done some more work on the paths, so over there you can see the paths are now clear. There's a path down there which I'm going to lay later on today. But most importantly, along the back here, if you remember from the last video, that was 6 foot high in weeds. So with the help of a little bit of weed killer and the people from the neighbouring plot having pulled the dandelions up on their end, it's a lot clearer now, so that's going to get a path laid on today as well. So it's all looking quite good, and you know, I know winter's coming and traditionally we're all getting ready to put our allotments away, but what we're going to do today is I've picked up some garlic, and we're going to plant some garlic and some onions as well, and they'll overwinter and they'll be ready sort of next summer. So it's just something to keep the plots going over winter, basically keep them productive, stop them getting bored, and it means that come sort of early winter, early summer next year, I'll have a crop from them. Now these aren't hard to plant. You can get them from garden centres or from online stores at the moment, and basically all you need to do is break the bulb up. So take the bulb and twist it, and you get the individual cloves. As you can see from there, these are what goes in the ground with the pointy bit up. That's the bit that goes up. Now be careful when you're planting these, because you don't want to plant them where you planted garlic or onions previously. They need going in sort of a fresh bed, remember, with all this crop rotation. So all you do, you dig a little hole, a tiny hole, you put it in so the tip is right near the surface, and then you just cover it with soil and then water it in later on. And then that's just repeated for all of your plant, all of the cloves. So again, break that up into 2 more, they'll go in the ground, and likewise you just end up with your rows along here, just as you would with a normal plant. So I'll get these in the ground and then we'll have a look at our onions. Okay, so I've broken them all up into individual bulbs. I've made some holes, so let's just pop each one into the hole like that. Just next one. Now it's important with garlic and onions that you don't leave the sets for too long, because they dry out. When you squeeze them, they should be firm. There's no give on that. Once you can buy sort of the reduced sets in the shops, but if you squeeze them, they'll just crush between your fingers, which basically means they're not going to germinate. Whereas these, they're solid, they're firm, and that means that they're going to actually produce garlic heads. Now hopefully they'll do all right. I've personally never had a lot of luck with garlic, but I know people who have, and every year I give it a go, just on the vague off chance that it's actually going to work this year. But hopefully this will be the year. You know, I think being a gardener is partly about being optimistic. Some of these are probably a bit too close, but they'll live. Planting guidelines are there as guidelines, so let's just get those in the ground, and then I'll cover them all up, and then we're sorted. So I just put the soil over the top, and then once I finish planting this bed, I'll give it a good watering in. The soil is slightly damp, but even so, because these are dried, they should be watered in anyway. Onions again are planted in exactly the same way. What I've got here is a selection of onions. They're a mixed bag, so you've got red, normal and sort of white onions. So again, good selection. You can plant them with your garlic. Obviously I've only had enough for sort of 3 rows of garlic there, so the rest of the bed will be these. Same again, pop them in the ground just so the tip is just poking through, just at the surface. And then with these, what you should do is come back to them after a few days, because what you can find is sometimes birds will pull them out the ground. So just come back after a couple of days, and just any that are on the surface, put back in the ground, and they should be fine. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to just plant up this bed now with onions, and then that should hopefully be done. I've got 100 sets. So there'll be plenty of onions for next year, and again I'll plant some more in the spring probably, because I do quite like my onions. It is very easy to get one of these the wrong way round. I've just done it a number of times, planting the few I've planted here, but you can see that there's sort of almost like a little shoot at the top, and then at the bottom you can see it looks like there's roots coming out. Some of them the roots will be more pronounced than others, but just make sure you have a good look and you get them the right way around, because they'll struggle to germinate if they're not the right way around. It doesn't take long to plant these. I've planted from there up to here, so I've planted 50 onion sets so far. I'm just about to get the other 50 in, and it should be a lovely bed of onions next year. I've planted them about 4 inches apart, which is plenty, and same with the rows, so it's about 4 inches in either direction. What you can do if you want to maximise your sort of productivity is plant diagonally, so plant 1 row here like this, and then the next row you'd plant there, so it's in between, so you can get sort of put your crops a little bit closer together if you do them like that. So that's one tip for you for helping you to maximise your use of space if you want to. Okay, just a little update. The onions are in, all planted. I've watered them in as well, so because they're new in, I'll be down tomorrow to water them again, and for the next few days they'll get watered, probably daily if the soil dries out, just give them time to hydrate and set roots. So that's a nice bed of onions there, so we're looking forward to see what happens there. I'll move these bags in a bit, they need to go, but I've just been doing over here. Now obviously this is the shed, and all this in front of it has pretty much been scrubland. It's kind of useless area. You can see there's bushes there that cast shade on it pretty much the entire day, so because of the height of these trees and everything there, I can't use this for anything useful, to be really honest with you. It's dead space. I can't plant anything there unless I'm planting anything that really loves shade, which I might put some pots with shade loving plants in at some point, I don't know. But for now, as it was a mess of weeds, a few weeks ago I went over with weed killer, and you can see there what it's done to the grass. You can see it's killed it right off. Now, because this area here, it's in front of the shed, I'm not going to be growing anything in the ground near here. So I've not gone to as much trouble as I would as I have been over here, whereas between the beds I've dug up the weeds and gone through it by hand and really made sure that I've got all the weeds out. Whereas here, I've not bothered, because at the end of the day, where's the weeds going to go? They're going to go under the path, they're going to go over there, under the shed. I'm not too fussed, because I'm not growing here. I can spray this regularly, so if weeds start popping up through here, come out with a spray. There it is over there, squirt squirt, all done. So what I've actually found is, once I dug down here, once I started pulling the weeds up, is about an inch under the soil is what looks like to be some bubble wrap or an old shower curtain, something like that, which obviously somebody at some point has put down to stop the weeds coming through. The only problem is there's soil on top of it, and the weeds are growing through that soil. So what I've done here is I've pulled most of the weeds up. I've got as much as I could up by hand, so I've not dug it over, gone into a great deal of trouble because of what's under the soil, that plastic, whatever it is. And then I've given it a good spray with my weed killer. Then I've doubled over my fabric conditioner. Now it's not an expensive fabric weed conditioner. You can see it's just it is a very simple one, but it was on special offer, so because I need so much of it, I bought it. And again, I bought loads because I knew I needed loads, so I've doubled it over, double thickness, and then I put a couple of inches of a bark on top of it. Now I have sprayed underneath it with weed killer just to, you know, finish off anything that's there, so hopefully that will be okay. But like I said, if anything comes up here, because of where it is, I don't mind giving it a quick squirt with weed killer, just get it under control. So what I've got to do next is I need to continue down here with this, and then I want to do the same here all the way down there. There's at the end of the table there is some more paving stones, so I want all this barked as well. Now I did try to move this potting table the other day and almost gave myself another hernia. It's actually whoever's put this in place has actually nailed it to the bottom of the shed, which has made painting the shed really, really difficult. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get bark under there, but what I will do is I will get weed under there, get my weed membrane down, and get bark under there, because at the end of the day I need to keep the weeds down as much as possible. The more I can keep the weeds down, the more time I have to focus on the fun parts of owning an allotment, like growing stuff, planting stuff, and basically sitting here enjoying the sun. So that's my cunning plan. So I've done this bit here. I'm a bit out of breath now, having wheeled all that around. So what I'm going to do very quickly is, I haven't got too much longer left down here, so I just want to, you can see that's not going to take too long to clear. So that's just going to get a very quick dig over, fabric, weed membrane down, and then I can hopefully go all the way to just over there where the wood is. That's the path. That gap between my raised beds and their raised beds, that's meant to be a path between the allotments. There's allegedly paths between all the allotments here, but a lot of them are overgrown, because obviously we're all limited in time and we want to concentrate on dealing with our plots. So you know, you've seen in previous videos the state of that, so I'm going to sort it out and get it all dug. But that's it for now, and I will talk to you, I'm sure, very soon. So enjoy the rest of your day, and if I get time I'll give you another update in a little bit. Otherwise I will see you in the next video.